Hello and welcome to Ouya Classics. In this installment, we're taking a look at Some Orange Guy, which is a platformer for Ouya. This game is free, and it's not actually all that bad. It's obviously very much based on classic games like Mega Man, in that you can run, you can shoot, and you can jump. And that's pretty much the entire gameplay mechanics in a nutshell. Everything in this game is, taken directly from Capcom classic games like Mega Man, but the game does have a few ideas of its own, and it's an indie game, of course. And I feel like for what it is, it's not actually all that bad. It has an overworld, much like Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World. And like Mario Bros. 3, you can, at later stages, choose to skip certain levels if you find them more difficult. You have branching paths. The level designs themselves are not really anything all that special, and the character, if you look at his general graphics and his frames of animation, you can very much tell that they are taken directly out of Mega Man. The only real difference here is the guy is orange and not blue. If it was some blue guy, I guess it would be even more of an obvious tribute to Mega Man, but, this is Mega Man, just basically the indie game. Mega Man the indie game. So you have a few different moves that you can do. You can fire your standard shot. You can also use a flamethrower, which uses the blue bar in the top left corner there. And, yeah. The gameplay is pretty good, but the level design needs work, such as that spike pit there. Putting spikes where the player has no chance of seeing them or knowing that they're there beforehand is just bad level design. Luckily, unlike Mega Man, you don't die in a single shot, so it doesn't matter as much as it would in, like, a Mega Man or a Battle Kid or something like that. Here I'm just testing the gameplay mechanics to make sure that, those spikes, when they fall down, they're not going to kill me instantly, like they would in Battle Kid. But bottomless pits still will kill you, of course. I don't know if this game is built for the Ouya or not, but it's got a lot of glitches, like the problem here with these spikes. Like, the spikes don't kill me instantly, but it's just weird that I can, like, go right through them, and, they're more of a hassle than they are anything else. As well with the ladder, sometimes you can, if you can stand on the ladder and stand in the ladder, it's very strange, and you need to actually see it to understand what I'm talking about. The graphics in the game are simple, but they're not bad. They do their job, and it's not a bad looking game, but it's not a great looking game either. What is really mundane is the music. The music is not awful, but it's nothing that you will be remembering after you stop playing the game. It's entirely forgettable stuff. And that's really a shame, because a lot of these indie games on Ouya have excellent soundtracks that are, really, really great and a lot of fun to listen to, and, you want them to listen to them even when you're outside of playing the game. One that comes to mind immediately is Cuban Creature. Cuban Creature is a fairly simple game, but my god, is that soundtrack great. I sort of wonder if the music in this game is just generic music that's taken from something else, rather than made specifically for this game. Likewise, this stage is different and, varies the gameplay, so, I like that the developer was, ambitious enough to include some variety in the stage development, or the stage designs. When you're on the sheep, you can go much faster, you can jump much higher, but you can't stop, like you can when you're on foot. So this is going to cause me to fall to my death right here. If I was on foot, I could have easily avoided that, but can't do anything. And that was just my bad. Dead again. Here's what I'm talking about, the branching paths. I can either go to stage 5 or stage 6. Now, I do have to keep in mind that this is an indie game and not, made by, experienced programmers. So, credit where credit's due. There's a good variety in the enemies in this game, and then also their intelligence, or their patterns or whatever. These zombies will approach you. They won't just go back and forth like just mindless enemies. And that makes the gameplay a little bit more varied. As well, it also uses the right analog stick, which is something that most of these kind of games don't use at all, so that's kind of neat. The right analog stick just pans the camera up and down, so you can see what's above or below you, depending on what you need to see in that direction. You can use the D-pad, or you can use the analog stick to move, so, it's very simple controls. Now this is the part where I'm talking about I can stand right on the ladder and not be on the ladder. It's a glitch, and, oh well. It's the game again is free, so whatever. The game might look boring or repetitive, but you know what? The game is actually pretty fun. It's an enjoyable experience, and the game is has some unique ideas with this level design, such as this part right here. I don't know what the point of collecting these skulls is. They're just like collectible things like you can do in like various Donkey Kong Country games, or basically any Rare game made in the 90s. Were always collectathon games, so I guess maybe it's a tribute to that. So here's a pretty cool trick. Get the zombies together and then light them all on fire with your flamethrower. Now, even though this is a Mega Man style game, you have a massive health bar in this game. You very little, you take very little damage from the enemies, and you could take a lot of damage before you would die. Pits are going to be your greatest adversary, not the enemies. That was a glitch there. I just fell while climbing or something. The game was trying to figure out what I was doing. Now this is actually a pretty cool level. I like what they did here. The only thing wrong with this section is that it lacks the tension that a game like Battle Kid would have, because, the spikes are not instantly deadly if you touch them. In fact, they do very little damage if you touch them. I feel like this stage would be beneficial, it would benefit if it was harder, which is a weird thing to say, but it's true. The game would be more fun if it was more difficult. The real difference between this game and a game like Battle Kid is that in Battle Kid you need to be absolutely perfect. You cannot, take a little bit of damage because you'll die. So this stage introduces conveyor belts, which work exactly like you'd think they would. You go quicker going towards them, and you move slower if you go against them, just like in Mega Man 2 with Metal Man stage. While Some Orange Guy is not a masterpiece by any means, it definitely shows that the creator of the game has enough talent to understand some gameplay mechanics that work and come up with ideas of his own, although not all of them are great ideas. Some of the stage designs here are very, very simple and just not very good. But, with all that said, this kind of game would serve as like a framework for a more ambitious project that he could do later on. If there was a sequel to this game that was, significantly better in gameplay design, or level design, I should say, that basically used the same sort of gameplay, I would actually even support buying it. Like, this is the kind of thing that I like to see on Ouya. It's not, it's not something that is super different from the games I grew up with. And, I like to see new ideas and new carry forward, or new ideas that carry forward the tradition of 2D platformers. Some of the enemies here are just, really generic, and they could be replaced by basically anything. But, if you could get maybe a more cohesive world going on, I think that would help. But as it is, the game is definitely worth checking out, and, the game is again free, so if you want to try it, it's, there's really no barrier of entry. It's not even a very big game, so it's not going to be taking up a lot of space on your Ouya, so give it a shot if you think it looks pretty cool. So anyway, guys, that'll basically do it for today's video, so thanks for watching, and if you have any questions about this game, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Please hit the like button, and once again, I'll see you guys next time.